So we were talking today about the difference between pity and compassion. The sun is, or the clouds are passing the sun, so sometimes it's brighter or darker. So I don't have a studio. I just have my living room. So yeah, that'll have to do. Right, pity. Pity is on the vibration of fear and powerlessness. Compassion is on the vibration of universal love. Pity facilitates victim mentality. Compassion recognizes the circumstance, but at the same time recognize the power of the individual to overcome. When we pity ourselves, we qualify ourselves as helpless victims and others become villains. We feel powerless and feel someone should rescue us. This is known as the drama triangle. We relinquish all responsibility to help ourselves. So that's what happens when you're feeling sorry for yourself. It's another way of pity. And we know sorrow and grief and loss and all those go together. So it's loss of power that we're feeling, or loss of something that we're feeling. Someone has taken something from us and we want someone else to give it back to us. You know, whether it's our freedom, we want someone to reinstate it. Whatever it is, we want someone else to be the one who does it for us because we feel we don't have the power to help ourselves. And I'm sure many of us have been, if not all of us, have been in that situation. I certainly know I have been. Compassion means that although we feel our emotions and understand the impact of a hostile environment, we still understand we have the power to take responsibility for how we manage ourselves within the given or a given situation. Okay? Pity. When we pity others, we enable them to continue feeling powerless. When we have compassion, we will assist to the extent that the person does not have the capability. Okay, so that's the difference. Because pity is a product of the ego mind, we run the risk of becoming a persecutor when the person refuses our assistance or advice. Okay? Compassion, on the other hand, respects the boundaries and step back when we are not invited. Compassion only assists to the extent the person asks for it. Okay? I feel like there's something I wanted to add. Pity also harms you, okay? Pity or feeling sorry for someone actually harms you emotionally, psychologically, and can even harm you physically. Whereas compassion does not. Compassion is you allow that compassion to flow through you. You do not take personal responsibility for what is not yours because you're not personally responsible for what another person can do for themselves, okay? It's very difficult to get into the topic because the deeper you try to go, especially in an environment like this, it could become even more confusing. So these things have to be spoken about on an individual basis because there's always these little nooks and crannies and twists and turns that creates different dynamics and make a situation somewhat different. So we don't want to just make it out like it's just something, just one size fits all. It's not really how this thing works. Okay, so it may seem obvious to you what a person needs to do to fix their situation, but that might be because you do not understand the underlying concerns of the individual. For example, we hear this crazy foolishness when somebody's overweight, for example, like all they have to do is exercise. You have no idea what the person is going through that is perpetuating the overweight. There's so many things that is going on psychologically and emotionally with that person as to why they're overeating and causing the issue. And in fact, when people are so aggressive with someone, and I'm only using this as a for instance because it's an easy one, when people are so aggressive and are discriminating, in fact, against people who are overweight without knowledge, that is a persecutory interference. It's an egoic, persecutory interference that is born out of ignorance of what is the psyche of the person, what traumas the person has endured, and why they are maybe binging or comfort eating. Stop it. Stop fussing at things that you don't understand. Also be compassionate towards yourself. You might have an issue that seems easy, for example, I can give an example where a doctor told someone, oh, just go for a walk. That doctor has zero idea what it means to that person to go for a walk. They have zero idea what it means for that person to be out in the open and how terrifying that can be for someone who suffers from severe anxiety. If you're, and you might think, well, a doctor might be qualified to tell someone that. A lot of doctors have no training when it comes to anxiety, no real training when it comes to neurosis. They tell people things, and then the person might feel, oh, I'm lazy, or they might, they start thinking other horrible things, compounding the issue, and really there are things that has to be addressed first of all, so they can be deep-rooted psychological issues that causes a person not to do something that seems so easy to do. And those issues need to be addressed, okay? So when we hold somebody in compassion, all we're doing is facilitating a loving environment for that person to be and to do, to the extent that you can also, okay? To the extent that you can, that you do that, so that you don't end up becoming a villain, because your own ego is going to try to protect you. That's why you become abusive towards the person, so you can what is the word called, to give that repulsion from the person, so you can pull away from the person in order to protect your own self, because when somebody's not listening to you and it seems so obvious what they should do to help, that can antagonize you, and that is your own ego at work trying to protect you by making you feel antagonized, so you can distance yourself from that person. I hope that was understood. Anyhow, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of this video. Let me know if you find yourself in a drama triangle, and or whatever. So I'm gonna leave it there, and do share. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed. And until next time, love, light.